The flight attendant took off her high heels and used the heels to stir the coffee, then handed the coffee to the woman. The woman, however, directly knocked over the coffee, scalding the flight attendant's arm. The flight attendant quickly treated the wound but dared not fight back, as the other party was the noble princess. The flight attendant accidentally noticed a ring on the princess's hand, similar to the one she was wearing. She immediately tried to remove the ring with soap, but it was no use, so she had to hide the ring. However, the princess still discovered it. She threw the ring on the ground and even stepped on it with her high heels. The flight attendant had no choice but to endure it and brought lunch to the princess. But the princess refused, saying she wanted to eat the flight attendant's meal. Knowing that the princess was allergic to seafood, the flight attendant deliberately took out noodles with shrimp as a side dish, picked out all the shrimp, and served them to the princess, who finished the noodles. Soon, the princess began to cough violently. The flight attendant was very nervous, but fortunately, the princess didn't notice her. At this moment, the flight attendant noticed a photo on the princess's seat. It was a picture of her with the prince. She nervously stood up, only to see the princess standing behind her, staring at her the whole time. The princess got off the plane in a wheelchair, her eyes filled with blood. After work, the flight attendant was about to leave the airport when she saw on the TV that the princess had passed away. Because of her noble status, her body had to be immediately transported back to her home country. What's worse, the princess had requested before her death that the flight attendant escort her body, and fearing the loss of her job, the flight attendant dared not refuse. However, as soon as the plane took off, it encountered strong air currents, and the violent shaking caused the princess's body to fall to the ground. Immediately after, the princess's body lunged towards her. The flight attendant quickly unbuckled her seatbelt and hid in the corner. After things calmed down, she carefully approached to try to lift the princess's body, but it suddenly moved. The flight attendant hurriedly called the captain for help, but he said the plane was encountering strong air currents and asked her to keep an eye on the princess's body. In order to keep her job, the flight attendant had no choice but to pull the princess's body back to the seat. Worried about another accident, she also tied up the body. The flight attendant thought she could finally sleep in peace, only to find the body on her lap. Fortunately, it was just a nightmare. The flight attendant planned to drink some water to calm down but suddenly heard the sound of high heels. She mustered up the courage to slowly approach the position of the princess's body, only to find that the body had vanished.